Well, good evening, and hello everybody. Welcome to today's race. Is the SFR GT Challenge here at Suzuka. So I hope everybody's had a great weekend this week. Hopefully, if you did watch the Nations Cup final, it was actually on at a decent time for me at once, being in my home country of Australia. The Nations Cup final race was absolutely brilliant. You might have seen the last 30 seconds of it on Demo 1. I posted a bit of a clip, but it was a brilliant, brilliant race. But we're about to begin the race very shortly. But first I want to show you a bit of a lap around Suzuka. So welcome along everyone. We've only got a couple of minutes to go, but let's watch the lap. We're on board. And thank you very much for the like. Can't see the name at the moment, but thank you very much. As we go in to the first turn here, everybody has to take that first corner. It's two bends, but they've got to take it a lot like one corner if they want to get maximal speed. And into the S's now, the snake, and it's very important to keep your speed high through here for a good lap time. And into what is called an anti-banked curve. Get down to the bottom of it, but you want to be pushing hard upwards through the hill. And if possible, you will be fighting understeer. Into the first of the Degners, brake as late as you possibly can. Into the second one, where we saw Rocky and one of the BDRT crew have a bit of a crazy overtake last week. And then up into the hairpin. Again, it's a hairpin on exit. You might get a bit of rear wheel spin. He was fighting a little bit of it there. And then we run up towards through 200R. And in towards the spoon curve, which always catches somebody out at some point. As you brake late, turn into the apex, let the car drift wide, stay off that green turf, otherwise your corner's pretty much ruined. Apex again into the second corner, and then get onto the power as quickly as possible for the straight. Everybody slipstreaming as they run up towards the spoon curve. Sorry, it's not spoon curve, that's what we've just gone through. 130R. Over the bridge, into 130R, cut the corner, run wide, and then braking late once again into the triangle. And once you get through here, that is your lap. Get onto the power. Make sure, again, you don't run too wide. If you keep it tight and short, you will get the quickest lap. And that is how things run around here. So welcome along, guys. My name's Josh Gain, and I'm excited to bring this one to you. So we'll give them the message. I don't know what happened there with them. It's a brilliantly. The cockpit view was good. It's a shame I can't actually select the cockpit view when I'm using the keyboard to broadcast for some reason. It's a bit of an oddity. Polyphony Digital are a bit of an oddity. They've got all these awesome camera angles that I'd like to use, that they use at the official events, but they don't let us have them. But they would totally spice up the racing, and everyone at home would be in awe of the action. But anyway, maybe if we wait patiently, we'll get it. So it looks like they're having some issues with the lobby at the moment. We're going to hopefully get those fixed up as soon as possible. This is 305 taking us around the track. It's through the hairpin for Rockefeller Racing. He's driving the F-Type Jag, which sounds like a bit of a beast. It is one of my other favourite cars to drive in GT Sport. It's got spoon curve all sorted, so if you can keep that up in the race today, 305 shouldn't have too many issues. The lobby is switching. All right, fair enough. So there you go. The lobby issues still exist for some reason. Thank you, Carl, and welcome along. And sorry to whoever hit the like button while watching that video, because your name would have popped up, but it was underneath the video, and I didn't get to see it. But thanks again. It would have been Gabbo APC. Shared their stream, so thank you. From TPRT. He's done that on Facebook. So thank you. If you want to, don't forget you can watch us live. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Mix up. Pick your favourite. I'll be there. But here we are, Demo 1 Garage. And I do apologise. I didn't get this race up on the calendar yet. I've been very busy. You should see my backyard. It's full of trees. We've been cutting down the trees this weekend, and I've got a lot of work ahead of me this week to clean it up. But yes, it was an insane finish to the Nations Cup final. If you haven't already seen it, I do highly recommend watching the final. Miyazono with the crazy strategy. He got rid of the hard compound early, and he was on the soft for the final 8 or so laps, and he was able to make up all the time everyone around him had gained early on. And because his tyres were obviously in a better condition, he kept the speed high, and boom, he was in the lead. Thank you, Eric, for your support as well, bro. Thank you for liking the stream. It's a similar strategy we see here in the SFR challenge, with sometimes the guys being told to use the medium. Sometimes we have seen in the past guys get rid of that medium compound very early. Eric as well has shared the stream. Champion, bro. So I do apologise. We're just waiting for this one to get fixed because the room is broke. The guys are just doing laps. Did Gabbo get his name from The Simpsons? You know that Simpsons episode where there's like Gabbo? Gabbo is coming! Gabbo! And he's that little puppet. Hans Tixcon, welcome, and thank you for following. And Omar has shared the stream as well over on Facebook. Champion. And you've also hit the like button. Legendary, brother. Thank you very much, Hans. This is Magic Man. He very much is front and center on the thumbnail if you're on YouTube. He's that car in the picture there. And thank you again, Omar, for sharing. Was it $5? Oh, look at that. Super chat beast mode 0. Chucked in $5. Thank you, Zero. There's been absolutely nothing happening yet, so I can't imagine how much you'd actually donate if something good was happening. Thank you very much for your support, bro. Everybody, a round of applause from Zero. We'll clip that. We'll play back that super chat on a post later on. Well done. Clipped. Boom! Clip that. That's apparently got to be my it's got to be my catchphrase from now on. Okay, looks like they're having issues, so we'll try and get things started in a minute. Sorry for all the delays, but we'll get started. There must be some. They must be having some breakdowns after last week. Mike Grimm, thank you for liking the stream, bro. Yep, that's it. Applause all around for Zero. Well done. $5 to the super chat. Beast mode. Yeah, who is getting a set of the TLSM pedals? I think I might be, Jeff. They're not too badly priced if the exchange rate here in Australia stays where it's sort of sitting. I mean, I'd really like to have a load cell pedal set. Obviously, you know, I've got the conical brake mod on. And yeah, who else is looking forward to the Thrustmaster load cells? Yeah, Magic Man needs to have a good start. Hopefully he can. Chris Brown obviously getting some. And don't forget, guys, if you do get them on Amazon, and you want to show your support here at the same time, use our Amazon link. But that's only if you can get them cheaper on Amazon. If you find them cheaper anywhere else, I'm not going to make you do it. Because I'd do exactly the same thing if I could find them $20, $30, $50 cheaper somewhere else. But if you do get it on Amazon, don't forget, we do have an affiliate link. And we'll get a bit of I don't know how much we'll get actually, but a little bit of money from your purchase. It won't cost any more, but it's a way to indirectly support the channel if you do so. But like I said, don't feel obligated, because if you find them cheaper somewhere else, go for that, because that's exactly what I would be doing. Yeah, too many issues. All right, lobby's getting restarted. Rusty Clark wants them to take his money. No worries, MD. We'll get it all sorted. Yeah, I did see Nico's pit violation. 5 seconds. I was watching it, and live on the chat, everybody was like, "Oh, but it's not. You know, rules are rules. There was no one pitting, or you know, it actually caused quite a stir." Zero is a legend, Rocky. You're not wrong. But yeah, 5 seconds. I mean, in the real world, it's a safety thing. So obviously, if we're at sim racing, we're trying to, like I've said before in the Talking eSports episodes, if we're trying to emulate the real world, maybe some of those things will stay the same. But at the same time, we also have a unique opportunity in sim racing to try different things that just aren't possible in the real world, such as, you know, different regulations, category setups, just unique rules here and there. But if we are just trying to emulate 1-to-1, then 5 seconds seems fairly fair. It is harsh, but fair. Well, Jeff, I'm because I play Assetto Corsa and Competizione and stuff on PC. I'll be using them for that a lot. But if they work with GT Sport, they work. If they don't, they don't. But yeah, I'm not too concerned if they work on the console. I'm more concerned about the PC. But GT Sport is. I like GT Sport for the main fact that if I don't want to muck around with my computer, plugging things in, setting up settings. You know, I can just turn the PlayStation 4 on, boot up GT Sport, and get into a race. So I usually choose GT Sport for that reason, but I really, really like the PC side of things. So I will be picking out the load cells for the PC more than GT Sport. But if they work with GT Sport, that's a bonus. Yeah, I got actually called out by a yellow flag in the FIA, Rocky. Laguna Seca. I didn't stream this race, but Laguna Seca first turn, someone went off, and the yellow flag was just thrown up, and as I overtook the car, causing the yellow flag, I actually got a 5 second or 6 second penalty for it. And I couldn't believe my eyes. So, yeah, the yellow flags are going to be very tough. Yep, you get yellow flag penalties in the FIA events, pal. It happened to me last round at Laguna. Just setting up the grid now, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise for the delay in the broadcast, but these things are outside our control, so appreciate the early support you've shown, and you've seen absolutely nothing yet. So once again, round of applause to Zero. He chucked in $5 and he hasn't even seen a single race. That man's committed. Thank you very much, Arrow. Yeah, Twitch was it was the first time I actually watched the Nations Cup or any of the GT Sport things on Twitch. There were some characters for sure. MD was there with me. Yeah, well, I got the penalty and I didn't cause the accident either, Rocky. That's the weird thing. I don't know how it works. I got the penalty. The car that threw up the yellow was the car I was overtaking because it was off the track. So it ruined my race. I understand not overtaking under a yellow flag. But anyway. Alright guys, good news. It's the final. They got it all fixed. Here with the SFR GT Challenge, Round 7 Pro. And this is your grid. There's the M6 right next to Gabbo. Sorry, Spec 1 and Gabbo on the front row. And it's Axel and Stag on the second. And Legacy and Death Scythe there on the third. Let's see what happens as they charge up towards the first turn for the first time tonight. Spec 1, primed and ready. Thank you, Vasil. Waiting for the green. Holding very long. Jeff says use your brakes. Thank you, Chris Raymond. Surely the lobby's not stuck, is it? Green, 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 and we're racing. That was a very long hold for a very long time. I don't know what was going on, but the guys get ready and underway. And already, some of the guys are going 2-3 wide as they charge in towards the first turn. There's some connection issues for some of them, so hopefully that doesn't affect too many of them. We had one of the guys' cars go wide through there. I think it was Magic Man, so the start he needed isn't quite the start he got. And 305 also ran a little bit wide, but Spec 1 running out early lead, almost a second before we get to the snake. DNA Stag up into second place, so he's gotten a few positions early on. Axel also up to third, but it was Gabbo who's lost out as he's all the way back down into fourth place. And he's got a lot of work ahead of him now as he charges his way through the field in one of the biggest cars on track. It is only the M6, but imagine if we got the M8. Here is Gel Speed with the navy digital camo, which I can respect that one. Thank you, Vasil, for sharing the stream as well. Thank you very much, buddy. Here are the two Rockefeller boys now going neck and neck as they come towards the hairpin for the first time this lap, and it stays just as it is as they stay forward in formation. Spec 1 got a very early lead, but it's Stag who has to defend from the guys in behind him. Early Mac got booted apparently. I forgot I am the red flag caller. I'm not sure if we should call the red flag or not. But other than that, the race looks like it's good. Well, if we did lose one, I will call red. I didn't realise we lost one. They're going to hate me for it. But called it. Let's see what happened. It was a very long hold. It's not fair, is it? We got booted. I'd like the same situation. Sorry about the late call on the red, but I didn't see that at the start. It's alright guys, when things go wrong they only happen in threes. So we've probably only got one more thing to go wrong and then we should be good. Turn 1 looked okay, I'll admit, to me. I mean, it wasn't great. But if someone got booted, if someone did get booted, I'll call the red for that. Because it's not fair if you got booted. Looks like there's a bit of protesting going on about the qualifying positions. It's obviously a little bit hard once the lobby resetted the way it did. Yeah, I don't know, 305 went wide, and I know Magic Man was involved in something, but they sort of recovered pretty much straight away. Unfortunately, I don't have a replay or a recording. It was a slow one, a slow red for me, but you did bring it up there in the chat, and you were right. I didn't see, but someone gets disconnected, that's definitely called for a red, so I'll call it for that. And Spec 1 did get a very early lead, unfortunately, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him again. But anyway, we'll get this one back up and started. This is what happens sometimes with league racing. We have very many different issues to what real world racing has. That's how you speak English too. Very many different. Alright. We'll keep an eye on the first turn again this time. I was a little bit too excited and totally forgot about my duties there, but you guys kept me into line. Alright, here we go. Back into the race. And this is your second run, second restart. Spec 1 on the front row next to Gabbo. Hopefully he can get a better start this time. And Axel and Stag. Let's keep an eye on the field as they run towards the first turn. Oh, you're right, Rocky. At least we don't have safety cars. Ooh, that was a fantastic idea when that was put out there. Anyway, no safety cars, just a red flag. Here we go. Waiting for the start. Second restart. It's Suzuka. It's green and racing. Spec 1. Fantastic start once again. And the guys 2, 3 wide as they charge towards the first turn. Stag looks like he's got an early lead on the rest of the field. Magic Man and 2 Rare tussling and bumping each other. Oh, we lost Axel. Did we lose Axel just as the race started? Early max there. I can't remember, was there 13 or 14? Somebody let me know. But anyway, that looked pretty good. Yeah, we lost Axel. Thought so. This will be the last red. This is the last red. Thank you very much, Chris Walker. So, whatever happens after this start, we will not call the red. So, technically, if you were a cheater, you could just charge into the first turn at this point and crash everyone. But if you did that, I'd disqualify you and restart the race. So there is no more restarting here if we lose a driver. This is it. If they disconnect, they disconnect. I told you, only happens in threes, and today it's happened in threes. So we should be good from here on in. Early Mac in that It's not as wide as the M8, but the M6 is still a huge car, isn't it? This will be the final attempt. Thanks for your patience out there, if you've been waiting for this one. This is Gel Speed's livery. He was the one we were watching the onboard shot from before. In support of vets. Alrighty. Races, this is the final start, the final restart we'll get. So cross your fingers, ladies and gentlemen, that everybody stays connected as we go for the third and final restart tonight. It's so random too. We will have such a good run. Such a good run of no problems, and then one day, just out of nowhere, it goes to hell. So 14 drivers. Spec 1 leads the field. Gabbo has to watch out from Stag. Stag gets a great start, so keep an eye on him in 4th place. And we're racing. It's green. The third and final restart. Spec 1. Much better start from him this time. Stag pretty much emulated exactly what he had the first 2 times around. Axel and Death Scythe, they come together. Oh, Legacy. It was a bit of drama. Where is Legacy amongst all this? Little Mac, I don't know if was involved. Oh, Legacy just cut him out wide, and those two, they were off early. And Legacy, bit of an unsafe rejoin, you could say, but he got away with it, and that's how it's going to stay. Everybody stayed in, but Little Mac lost out completely with a touch with Legacy. There could be some penalties handed out later on because of it. We'll have to wait and see what the stewards make of it. Not my decision. But there is Stag. He got a fantastic start again around Gabbo, but Gabbo able to mitigate losing too many more positions. So this time up into 3rd, not 4th. And Death Scythe in that Audi gives chase. Great little start there. Wasn't the cleanest into turn 1, but unfortunately that's what happens sometimes. It was Legacy and Little Mac. You can see Magic Man got a much better start this time round. He's got 2 red just ahead of him as they're fighting for position. Just behind these 2 guys. Up towards 130R. Slipstreaming. Hopefully Little Mac can get himself back into this one with the use of a slipstream. 305, so it's a Rockefeller trio. Into the 130R. Pushing hard, pushing wide. The Lexus up against the Mustang. Into the triangle. Oh, Death Scythe has had issues. 305 gets around, so does Gel Speed. There's Beckwar. J-Rod up into 10th. There's Legacy. There's Little Mac. And Death Scythe, let's have a look. He was in 4th place as well. Oh, he just outbraked himself. Oh, and he just had to let the field drive by. There was nothing he could do there. Huge shame for Death Scythe. So this is Spec 1 now. Still leading, and it's a massive lead already onto the 2nd lap, almost 3 seconds, while Stag and Gabbo fight neck and neck. Axel now moves up into 4th and assumes the position that Beckwine was in. It hasn't been a fantastic start this time round for the BDRT crew, and they've got a bit of work ahead of them if they want to fight back here at this early stage. It is 28 laps, so anything could happen for them. But you can see Gabbo right onto the exhaust of DNA Stag, who got a fantastic start, launched off the line, up around the outside, up towards turn 1, and he stayed 2nd there for the time being. But this man from TPRT is not going to want to keep that the way it is standing. There's Axel. You can see there's quite a gap forming from fourth backwards. Into the spoon curve. Stag almost had the run. You're right, Rocky. It is a very long race. Anyone can regain themselves. Gabbo looks to be having a move. Up beside Stag now. This might work for him. Into the turn. Side by side through 130R. Huge cojones. And he's got the overtake. Where did Axel come from? Huge run from Axel. How did that happen? Surely was that a bit of netcode? He was in fourth place. Oh, look at the speed he held through there. Huge pace. He almost caused a bit of an accident because he didn't know what was going on or where to put the Audi. But Axel, out of nowhere. So now it's a battle for third and fourth. Stag back down into the fourth place. And Axel able to hold the position early. So Magic Man up into fifth place. He's had a very good start. And 305 in sixth position. He's trying to do his best. He's had a pretty decent start. Recovered after those red flags. It would be hard for these guys to do so. This is Gel Speed up against Full Attack Motorsport driver J-Rod in what I like to call the cosmic liveries. I do like the look of their liveries. So here's Little Mac. Little Mac has recovered. That's good to see. He's going to go side on with 2 Rare. Little Mac gets it up in the inside at the hairpin. Beautiful move. And 2 Rare right now has to reevaluate and reassess the situation. Great little run from Mac though. Yeah, 2 Rare's fallen off, hasn't he? His pace isn't where it was earlier on. He was up there with Magic Man. And that's the other thing. Let's get you an update on the tyre situation and everything as we start to settle into this race properly. There's Beckwar in 12th and Desaith in 13th. And 14th, early Mac, he is having issues, isn't he? Into the spoon. That's what I was talking about. Watching the lap go by. If you get onto that turf on the outside, that's what happens. Ruins your lap. Let's get you an update. Fuel, tyres, everything. This is Spec 1. He's on the softs. And he's going very well. Softs also for Gabbo. Axel also on the softer compounded tyre. DNA Stag on the medium, so he's going to get it out of the way early. And it's looking good for Stag if he can keep pace now with these top 3 who are on the softer compound. Magic Man on the softs. 305 on the softs. Then it's J-Rod on those softs. Mediums for Little Mac. Legacy on the soft tyre. Gel Speed on the soft tyre. 2 Rare and Beckwar, they're going neck and neck now. It's softs for 2 Rare and softs for Beckwar. Beckwar, his tyre's looking a lot better condition to 2 Rare though. That Mustang is just chewing through the compound of tyres at the moment. Have a look at the difference. I don't know if Beckwar's gone into the pits. 2 Rare does a little bit of a cut through Degner 2. That gives Beckwar a run. It's an easy one for Beckwar. So Gel Speed already switched from RM to RS, so I've missed that. Oh, look at that. 2 Rare out wide there. And he says, thank you very much. I'll take that. Degner 2. So Gel Speed's already done his medium tyres. Desaith on the softs now. And Early Mac on the soft. So there's your updated tyre strategies as they stand. Here is Gabbo up into second place. He has made a bit of room on Spec 1. The gap now only 6/10. So Gabbo's starting to put in some quick times. Let's have a look at the last lap from Gabbo. It was almost a 2-minute flat as he charges up towards turn 1. DNA Stag's gone into the pit lane and he's going to get rid of that medium tyre. Little Mac the same. 2:04. So Spec 1 lost 4 seconds that last lap. So there was a mistake somewhere that lap from Spec 1. That is why Gabbo is in so close quarters now, up behind Spec, because you can clearly see the difference over the lap time, and that's what's happened. So I don't know where Spec has been caught out, but it's given Gabbo a run now on the man leading this race. Axel in third place. He charged through 130R, and he's now holding station firmly. Magic Man's up into fourth place. Yeah, Spec 1 did have a big mistake. Mike Prim, the beam is a beast. It is sure, it's a huge beast. So 305 now. Has to defend. 2 cars want his position sitting in behind him. J-Rod's looking strong today, so it's good to see the man from Full Attack possibly scoring some decent points for himself and the team. Into the Spoon Curve they go. And it's just one by one. Oh, 305. He's made a small error there. That's let the guys run around him. And here comes DNA Stag up towards 130R. Stag right up into the slipstream. 305 needs to keep it clean from here on in. He's got a lot of defending to do. He's entitled to keep Stag in behind him, but Stag is also, remember, fighting for those top 3 positions. And at the moment, the Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman, on the brakes, keeps it to the inside line before we get to the triangle, and he's just stayed ahead. Axel goes by, J-Rod goes by, the Dutchman goes by. And they're still fighting now. Stag needs to clear him. Stag will be losing a little bit of time in this traffic. If he can clear them, he'll be very pleased. Some of the cars now coming out of the pit lane. You saw Magic Man exiting. I will get the standings for you in just a moment, Chris. I will work on getting the standings up like we do with the F1. It's just with the F1 they actually provide me those graphics. I'm not much of a graphical man, but I can get you the standings and I will show you them. Bit of a move from Stag here, up towards outside the curve. Oh no! Big moment from Stag. He's been bumped wide into the runoff. He's now got to rejoin. He's losing so many positions as Legacy and Deathscythe come by. Let's have a look. They were bumping and clashing. 305 was the man in front. This is on board with Stag. He was very tight to the inside. It was just one of those. It's just collision physics in this game. As 305 come back around, Stag had nowhere really to go. So he's now in 12th. So Gabbo now ahead of Spec 1. Did that happen? Spec 1 made another mistake. Spec 1 actually has gotten around Axel. So Spec 1. Spec's gone into the pits, that's why. Because he's got new compound tyres on. So he's back up into the lead now. As Gabbo goes into his pits. And his pit crew are there. Axel for the Puerto Rican E-Racing Club comes out in third place. So that's a very strong start to this race for Axel, Gabbo, and Spec 1. This is Gel Speed and Magic Man as they fight for glory for their team, Rockefeller Racing. So Gel Speed and Magic Man should be able to work together here and form some sort of comeback. Looks like fourth, maybe third later on, but we'll see what happens. This is Little Mac, who had dramas early on, and he's up into 7th now. Beckwar had dramas too. 305 just involved in a bit of a collision that might be looked at later on. Stag back down into 10th now. There's Deathscythe, also running deep before the triangle on lap 1 or 2. Legacy's there. Early Mac and 2 Rare. Obviously coming out of the pit lane because there's no way he's lost that much time unless he's had a mistake himself. But Spec 1's back up into the lead of this one. Now let's get you, ladies and gentlemen, the standings as they currently sit here in the Pro Division. Thank you. Murad Gandufa is now following. Welcome to the crew. And thanks for joining us here at Demo 1. Now these two, even though they're on the same team, got a lot of work to go. J-Rod and Little Mac. J-Rod looks like he tried to launch an attack up the outside. But the Black Dragon team in front of him have got him covered. He's into the pit lane. Becwa. Now, Spec 1 is leading the championship. He's got 136 points when he dropped his 2 worst races. CK, who's no longer with us, he's got 97. Then it's Becwa in 3rd overall. So Becwa is currently running 7th in this race, while Spec 1's leading. So it looks like Spec 1 is going to have an easy run to clinching the title. It won't be today, but if Becwa doesn't improve any further, it's going to be very hard for him to fight back, because Spec 1 has shown huge consistency this season. There's 305 in 8th place. As I go through the standings though, Little Mac is 4th overall, Sebestro's 5th, Death Scythe is 6th, Magic Man's 7th, then it's Gel Speed, and Stag is 9th. And the finish out the top 10 is 2 Rare. So they're your top 10 in the Pro Division. But Spec 1 is looking likely that he'll go on to win this championship. And if he can, convert his position here in 1st all the way to the end of 28 laps, he'll definitely go on to be an easy win, because Becwa has had a few issues early on. So these top 3, they've got a lot of clean air. Gel Speed still ahead of his teammate. So these two can work together now. If they can, they're in 2 different vehicles, but doesn't mean they can't work together. On board with Magic, who was currently 7th overall in this championship. Yeah, Stag won't be happy. Stag won't be happy at all. Magic Man looks like he's got a bit of extra pace over Gel Speed here. There could be an overtake forming. But these two, they won't really want to work against each other. Gel Speed giving him the okay. Bump drafting. So these two, same team, working together. It is a team game after all. Let's get you the updated team statistics. So team standings. Here in the Pro Division, Rockefeller Racing are leading with 218 points to Black Dragon's 192. Powerhouse Racing Team will no longer represented. They've got 131 in 3rd, and it's Full Attack with 54. So, but there are some other teams now that have filled in the positions, like PREC, TRPT, who will score points today. TPRT rather, Gabbo being one of them. Little Mac, 6th place. He's fighting back. He's looking like he's making a little bit of... He's gaining on the 2 guys ahead of him. Excuse me, my voice is disappearing. There's 305, and you can see Stag is now starting to reel him back in again. So, will Stag have something to say about it, or will he just get on with it and get racing once he gets the overtake position on this man? Because Stag won't be happy. He was definitely going for a podium position, but that crash he had definitely hurt that. J-Rod's up into 9th, and Becwa. Let's have a look at the action we saw just a few laps ago. So it was J-Rod and Little Mac. You could see they were too wide through 130R, but Little Mac had the inside at the triangle, and J-Rod just stayed in behind because J-Rod, well, he took to the pit lane this lap. Oh, Beckwhite was caught out by that, wasn't he? Interesting. Nothing, not J-Rod's fault. Just Beckwar was on an awkward line. In the wrong place at the wrong time, you should say. Let's have a look at the telemetry information. So this is Spec 1, the race leader, as we're hit lap 10. There's a slight bit of fuel. We've lost Axel from third. That puts Gel Speed and Magic Man up into the top 3. So Axel, we did see him lagging slightly, so his connection has dropped him out of this one, putting these two guys squarely inside the podium spots. So now this one is just about to get personal as Gel Speed and Magic Man notice that they're now fighting for a podium. Huge problems. That's so unfortunate. Axel from PREC, the Puerto Rican E-Racing Club, was on for a third. Surely if he could just stay calm and collected, but his connections has hurt him today. And that's also another talking point when we talk about sim racing. Because if this was, say, a big tournament for money, and we were doing this online, just losing your connection is sort of like your car just conking out, your engine blowing up. It's akin to that in the real world. We have different issues in the sim world, but that's so unfortunate. So that is Axel out and retired. Magic Man up beside his teammate now. I told you the gloves are off, and Gel Speed and Magic Man, they know this is important. They were working together, but now they're inside the top 3. Spec 1's inside the pits as well. So Gabbo's taking the lead of this one. Spec 1 will come back out into second because they've got such a huge lead. Where's Gabbo? Oh, they're going to be almost neck and neck. Just Spec 1. Just in behind the new race leader. So Magic Man has continued on as Gel Speed's sliced off into the pit lane. That puts Little Mac now inside the 4th place. So Little Mac on his comeback after the start that Nightmares have made of. So J-Rod and Legacy getting rid of their medium tyre, by the way, if you're playing at home. So Stag is slowly starting to reel in the Dutchman. Beckwar there in 7th place. Gel Speed will return into the racing line in 8th. There's Legacy and J-Rod as well. So new softs for Legacy, new softs for J-Rod. There's Death Scythe, who's not having a race that he would like to remember. And Too Rare, I don't know what's happened to Too Rare, but he was looking good early on. But right now he's down in unlucky 13th. It is the battle for the lead. And even though Gabbo might have an extra lap when it comes to fuel and such, this is his fuel. This is Spec 1's fuel. It looks almost the same. Gabbo's tyres, though, are more used. This is very interesting. Spec 1's looking very strong for the win at the moment. I would have to imagine he's my early favourite. Gabbo, though, is a contender, but they're on a bit of a different rotation when it comes to their stints. Yeah, Axel's joined us. You were having a really good race, Axel. Such a shame that it kicked you out like that. Magic Man goes in. So does Little Mac. Little Mac follows his teammate. Not his teammate. His enemy, you could call it. On-track enemy from Rockefeller. So Little Mac just out behind Magic there. Little Mac did gain a bit of time. Magic was stationary as he got a bit of fuel. And they're coming out into a very busy part of the track. As 3:05 now, up into the top 3. And DNA Stag is still giving chase as Magic Man comes out onto new tyres along with Little Mac in behind. This one's about to get very, very busy indeed. And Stag, well, he's got a point to prove now after being pushed wide out of the first Degner. Magic Man's got the pace and he wants to get around him. Oh, Gabbo ran wide turn 1. Surely not. That's so unfortunate. And that's why Gabbo is down into second. But we got a bit of action forming here in the Pro Division. Oh, through Degner too as well. Bit of door banging. And Magic Man stays in 5th. He really wants to get forward up into 4th. Stag runs a little wide at the hairpin. Magic keeps it tight to the inside. Stag now with the inside line as we come up towards Spoon Curve. He's got into the slipstream of the Flying Dutchman. There's almost going to be 3 cars trying to fit themselves into an overtaking spot. Up towards 130R is going to be very interesting. 305's got a huge task ahead of him at the moment. Look at this train. 5 cars involved in this one. Magic in the Lexus. He wants around. DNA Stag has been working on it for so long. And he also wants to get around. Stag stays there. Magic's going to have his work cut out for him as well. Into 130R. Magic. Little Mac. Little Mac tries to squeeze it. He tries to force the point into the triangle. They go side by side with Magic. And he's just around him. And a beautiful overtake at the triangle. You can't teach that move. That is pure skill from Mac. As they start this new lap, you can see Gel Speed's tagged onto the back end of it as 305 is now onto the medium compound. Little Mac up into 3rd. Great little bit of racing action forming. Gel Speed is there with it as well. 305's out in front of Stag, so those two pitted that lap. Legacy's giving chase to him behind. So back up the front, it's Spec 1 leading by 12 to Gabbo. And then it's Little Mac up into 3rd. And Magic Man is catching them. And so is Becwa and Gel Speed. This has been great racing here today. It's all coming ahead as we're about to hit the halfway mark into the second Degner. Gel Speed, you can see him there. He's watching everything happening. Magic Man's assessing Little Mac now, looking for any weaknesses he can assess as they do the lap here of Suzuka. And Becwa, well, it's a Dragon sandwich, and the Rockefeller team member Magic Man's inside that. But he does have a teammate of his own who's in behind Beckwat here. So it's two of the top teams squaring each other off right now, fighting for that 3rd place. And anything could happen as we charge towards halfway point of this race. It's getting quite exciting. Different strategies now, really starting to form the basis and the foundation of this one. It was a beautiful lap, wasn't it, Kyle? And the strategies now are really starting to tell the story. Todd was enjoying the line there. Gel Speed. He shows the nose. It doesn't affect Beckwar too much. Stag. He got his upcomings, and he got the move onto 305 into the first turn, and a clean one at that. And now Stag can just work on recovering after the unfortunate incident he had. So Stag got a really good run, and he had the pace on him as well. There it was, first turn. Easy overtake. He's already made a bit of distance between him and 305. And he's got 5 seconds between him and the drivers just ahead of him, who was Gel Speed. So Little Mac in 3rd. He's been holding that position now well. Magic Man being told to dig deep as well. He'll be searching for some extra speed now. But Little Mac, well, if he can recover after such a unfortunate start at turn 1, and after all the issues we've had with the restarts today, well, Little Mac, I think, will be very pleased with the way he's recovered. Gel Speed just in behind Beckwar now. So it's the AMG versus the Beetle. Gel Speed's getting very close, isn't he? And I don't think it's going to be too long before we see Gel Speed have a crack. But Beckwar's looking firm. Looks like he's totally in control of this situation at the moment. So it's BDRT versus Rockefeller, BDRT versus Rockefeller. Here goes Gel Speed. He's got the slipstream up beside him into the first turn. And another great overtake. Did it hold it? He did hold it. So great stuff there. And that is Gel Speed up one more spot. DNA Stag can see that all happening in front. So he's gained at least a second that lap as well. Maybe even 2 seconds that lap. So Stag is flying at this moment. 305. We'll have Legacy in just a few in a few short moments. Well, Legacy's... He's been punished here. J-Rod is all over the back of this man. J-Rod on the inside. The Jaguar on the outside. It's the Porsche who got the move done up before the first Degner. And now Legacy will have to defend from a very quick Death Scythe in that Audi. Watch out, Legacy. You've got a bit of work now cut out for you. Into the hairpin they go. Death Scythe chucks it up the inside. He tries to keep it tight. Legacy will have to run a little bit wide onto the curbing at the exit. And they charge up towards Spoon Curve now. Spec 1, the race leader, is inside the pit lane. This is the battle for 10th place. And Death Scythe wants to get up there. Any positions he can gain here will be beneficial for him. Legacy's doing a good job, but outside the exit of Spoon, Death Scythe, I think, got the run on him. They're going to be side on as they run towards 130R. And Death Scythe is chucked back in behind, so he's back inside the slipstream. Can Death Scythe do anything about it at this moment? No, Legacy's a little bit stronger on the brakes there into the final turn. And Beckwar goes into the pit lane too. So Spec 1 back out in front. And Gabbo, let's have a look at their tyres and such. So medium compound at the moment for Gabbo. And it's the medium compound at the moment for Spec 1. I think Spec 1's about to lap somebody here. So Spec 1 is absolutely flying at the moment. It is. It's his own teammate, Too Rare. Look at the fuel for Spec. Quarter. Just under a quarter. Gabbo's got even less fuel. So they're very equally matched at the moment. Softs for Little Mac. He's got a little bit more fuel. Magic Man. Well, he's got a half a tank. So Magic Man's looking strong to the end now. There will be a few more stops for tyres. But fuel, Magic's all over it. Gel Speed is even more fuel. And he's on the soft compound. So watch out for these guys. They're definitely a contender for the top 3. Stag is fighting back. He's got just over a quarter. Beckwar, similar. 305's about to run out. And J-Rod's giving him a bit of pressure from behind. There's Legacy in 10th. So go back for this one. J-Rod, he's not going to do something at Spoon, is he? No. He just backs off for a little bit longer and he's going to find the best moment. Gabbo goes into the pit lane and he'll ditch the medium tyres. He'll also get a bit of fuel. J-Rod, though, inside the slipstream. There's 305, punches a hole in the air. J-Rod gets the advantage. He's got the inside line for the triangle, but once again, 305 cuts any line of attack off, and J-Rod has to work back at it. And not surprising, the Dutchman's inside the pit lane because he needs fuel, and he's going to get rid of the mediums. Death Scythe follows suit. There's Gabbo, he's got 20 seconds to catch up to Spec 1. It's looking like a monumental task at this point for this man. But Little Mac, well, he's fighting hard and he's fighting back. Magic Man's inside 4th place. and his fuel situation might change things as we run towards the final 10 laps here. So strategy, like I said, plays a huge part in telling the story. And once we get into the final 10 or 8 laps and we start seeing the final pit stops made, you watch how exciting this one becomes. Because all the different strategies, they're all going to start meeting in the middle, so to speak. And then it's the quickest to the line. And at the moment, DNA Stag, he's not out of it yet. He does have a bit of work ahead of him, but anything could happen. This is motor racing, so don't count him out yet. Jose Correa, thank you for sharing the stream, brother. Appreciate your support tonight. And everybody else that has done so, that has shared it. With TPRT, Eric, Omar, Vasil, Jose, and all the people that have liked it. TPRT's even jumped on board and hit liking the stream, so thank you guys. We follow each other on Instagram, actually. That's if you are a fan of Instagram, you can find us there on Instagram at Demo1 Garage. Twitter at Demo1G. Sometimes I post slightly different things on Twitter just because I can. And also we go live each time where there's a race on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube and Mixer. Thank you, Daniel Lee, supporting us as well. And I don't want to forget Zero, who chucked in $5 with a super chat early on. So, again, massive round of applause for Zero. And my dad has hit like. My dad's watching. Now Stag's back up into third now. So after those pit stops have happened, changing things. Mike Prim. Thank you, Mike. You should share on the stream on Facebook, because this is about to get a very interesting finish here. Little Mac and Gel Speed. And one of the new regulars. Welcome, bro, and welcome. Thank you for hitting the like button, bro. And you can see the two Black Dragon Racing Team boys right now. They can work together at this moment. Rocky, the team boss and captain of Rockefeller Racing's hit like. Thank you, man. Oh, Gel Speed. There was a bit of a touch on the back quarter panel. Gel Speed's done the right thing and given Little Mac the position back. But, oh, Little Mac, he's just been in the wars today, hasn't he? Can't get out of it. Gel Speed just had a bit of extra speed through the first and second Degners. Oh, there was the touch. Didn't cause him too much harm, but Gel Speed did back off. He did the right thing. Good sportsmanship. So Spec 1, the race leader inside the pit lane. It's Gel Speed going for an overtake at Spoon. The two AMGs are side on. Daniel Lee's following us as well. We got a new follower on Facebook. Thank you, brother. And he didn't quite have the traction to get him, so he's jumped back in behind at 130R. Oh, he's touched the grass, Gel. Needs to be careful. It's a high-speed corner, and you need the car settled before you turn in. And Little Mac just holds it. Just holds it. Spec 1 has gotten in front of the lap traffic, so Gabbo's got a huge task ahead of him if he wants to win this race. Huge, huge task. Third place is Stag at this moment. Becwa, he's up into fourth place. It's the battle for fifth that's really starting to heat up. And Gel Speed holding a bit of fuel a little bit longer. He's actually overcut Magic Man when he went inside the pit lane. So that's worked out for Gel Speed there. And Little Mac is getting his pace. Let's have a look at the compound of Mac. Some of the guys are using the mediums. No, he's on softs. Don't forget, guys, that they've got to use the medium tyre compound at least once for just one lap. That's all they have to do. We saw Miyazono do that in the Nations Cup, so it does work. So softs at the front, softs for second, softs for Stag, but look, his tyres, he's going to need a pit. Becwa might last a little longer. Little Mac's in fifth, and he's got full compound remaining. Gel Speed, they're at exactly the same situation. So these two basically sprinting to the end at this point. It's mediums for Magic Man, so that's why his pace has dropped off as well, and the overcut sort of worked out. Sauce for J-Rod, he's up in 8th. He's had a pretty good race, actually. Desaith in 9th. 305, the Flying Dutchman. He's on the softs, and Legacy, same. And Tourat on the soft tyre. So there's only one driver at the moment on the slower compound, that's Magic Man. But it's this guy at the moment who was just killing it with an almost 5-second lead over the closest rival. Stag back up into 3rd place. He's doing another lap, so he's got the pace in him. His latest lap time was a 2:01.8, so he lost 4/10 that lap, so he's still pacing pretty well. Mike Prim as well as hits share on the stream. Thank you very much. So, this one, Gel Speed, Little Mac. When did he get ahead of Little Mac? He was ahead of him already. So Gel Speed's done the work. Battle of the Jags. Look at this. These two into the first turn. Oh, a bit of a touch. Legacy. He had to back out. He had the car almost sideways on the banked corner. And 305, he held it together just. Look at this. Great little bit of racing. And Legacy, watch, he comes in. He hits the backside of 305. It upsets Legacy's car. He just collects it. Great little bit of car control. And they're back at it already. So Spec 1 is coming around 130R now on the 20th lap. Got about 8 laps to go, and he's lapping extremely quickly. His last lap, a 1:5.71. That's a quick time. This lap, 1:5.88.56. So he's just put in a fastest lap. The 1:5.7 lap must have been because he's out lap. There's no way. That's why it probably wasn't counted as the fastest lap. So Spec 1 is on fire as we speak. Stag up inside the top 3 now. And here he comes inside the pit lane. Let's see where he comes out after this. So Becwa drives past Gel Speed and Little Mac. Is Magic Man going to get ahead of him as well? Stag, he needs to take fuel. He takes it. It's a long hold for him. J-Rod also follows suit inside the pits. So he's got fuel to the end now, Stag. He comes out in 7th place. And he's in behind Magic. So Magic Man is 4.5 seconds up the road. And now let's try and predict strategy. So Magic Man, he could technically go to the end on the mediums, and that might be what he's trying to do here. DNA Stag, he does have the quicker tyre though. So I think Magic Man is going to have to reassess the situation. But if he goes into the pits, well, he's definitely going to get overtaken. But if he stays out, at least he's got a chance of defending from Stag. So we'll have to wait and see. Gel Speed and Little Mac, they're switching positions again. Gel Speed was ahead of Little Mac at one point, but now he's back in behind. So these two, they aren't giving up the fight. Inside the spoon curve, he's keeping it tight to the inside. He needs to get on the power now. He needs to beat Little Mac because they've got exactly the same car, and Little Mac is playing games with him. He's trying to upset Gel and cut that slipstream advantage. Look at the pace Gel's got. Left, right, he can't find space. He knows he's faster, but Little Mac blocks the run beautifully, and it's going to be more work now for Gel Speed. Can we see where he got the overtake? No, it was already done before Degna 2 last lap. gel speed. And you can see third place, Beckwar, just there ahead of them in the Beetle. They need to settle things down through this S-bends, through the snake. Because you can gain a bit of time on your competitor if you can do it. If you can get on the power quicker through here as well, you will be fighting understeer, especially in this AMG. It's a big, heavy car. But if you can get control of it, into the first Degner they go. Still chasing. Looks like they're gaining time with Beckwar too. So these guys are looking a lot quicker at the moment. You can see the tyres, they're wearing away. That will be affecting their lap time. Oh, a bit of a contact push. Oh, a bit of back wheel spin too as he gets a little bit too eager on the power outside the hairpin. Running up towards the spoon curve this lap. Chucks it down into third. Rolls the car through. Hits the apex. Running wide on the exit. On the power as early as he possibly thought he could. And now they're charging up towards 130R once again. He's not as close this time, but you can see they've made huge gains on Beckwar in third place. Beckwar's in trouble, but the Black Dragon Racing team, they'll work together here. Little Mac. Oh, beautiful bit of teamwork there. Beckwar can now slow down gel speed. And Beckwar needed to get inside the pit lane, so he's actually bought himself a few tenths there. But that is teamwork at its finest. Little Mac now charging forward. Watch this. So Beckwar was just ahead of Little Mac. Little Mac, they knew he was quicker. He got to the inside. Beckwar let him go and then blocked the run of gel speed. Just long enough to give Little Mac a bit of breathing room, but Beckwar, unfortunately for them, had to go inside the pit lane. Luckily for gel speed. So it didn't last too long, did it? Gel speed's already back up and charging once again. It's gonna be these two AMG Mercedes for this third place finish. Let's get a quick update. There's Stag. He's 7.3 seconds behind. So if those two can get caught up battling, Stag might be able to make time on them. Let's have a look. His last lap was a 2-minute flat. A 2:01 flat. Little Max time. Oh, it's going to be close. DNA Stag could be on for fourth if he can be very fast. He's going to need some extremely quick times though. So Beckwar came back out in front of Magic Man. That's not what Magic would have wanted. But it's going to be very interesting now as these battles form all over the racing track for the final finishing positions. And Beckwar's in a good position now, being on some fresher rubber. J-Rod might have to deal with Death Scythe as well. So J-Rod will be defending his position fiercely. Magic, though, inside the slipstream. 130R. He didn't go for a move yet. He didn't have the confidence. Upside the... Little Max inside the pits as well, guys. That's going to release DNA Stag. And Gel Speed goes in too. This is a huge moment in the race. This is Stag coming out. Where are the other two? They're just coming out of the pit lane. They're going to be neck and neck. Oh, Stag wasn't able to get it. Those two kept their positions. They had just enough time on the board to regain back outside where they went in. And Stag now has a huge task ahead of him. That was his moment. It's now passed him up, unfortunately. This could change the outcome of the race here at this moment. And Little Mac and Gel Speed, they timed it perfectly. So now, if Stag hadn't been punted off in that unfortunate incident earlier on, he might be fighting, he might be defending that third spot, but it's not. That's not how it turned out for him. He's got his work cut out for him though. This is Beckwar and Magic Man. They're coming up on some lap traffic, so this could benefit one or the other here. It's a huge battle of the Mercedes. And Too Rare at the moment is getting blue flag, but he's not slowing them down just yet. Oh, we lost Gel Speed. No! Gel Speed, he's out of the battle for 3rd place. Ismail, thank you for following and welcome to Demo 1 Garage, guys. This is a very exciting finish. Gel Speed unfortunately disconnected, so he's retired. Becquois getting a bit of a slipstream here from Too Rare. Too Rare. He is on the Rockefeller team. Magic Man. Is he going to slot it up? He won't. So at the moment, Becquois will be losing his patience, I'm sure of it. He's still looking for a way through. The blue flags are flying. The car in front, that Mustang, is a lap down. Oh, Becquois, I thought he was going to go for a move there. Too Rare just needs to let them through at this point. He's done that. And he's let Magic Man through. So Becquois got a great exit through the first turn. But it's drama up the front as Little Mac now has lost his closest competitor, Gel Speed, to a disconnect. That's so unlucky. Like I said, it's just one of those things. That puts Stag back inside the top 4. And, well, on for a chance at possibly taking 3rd. He's sliding sideways through Degner too. He can't be doing that. It'll lose him time. I'm getting word that Legacy finally got overtaken. Sorry, overtook 305. There it is. See if we caught it. We didn't. There's Legacy just ahead of him. So it did happen. Back on board with Little Mac. His gap to Stag, 2.1. The tyre situation, looks like he's got much better tyres. Go on board with Stag, yeah, you can see it's not hugely better, but he does have the advantage. So what was going to be a very thrilling finish, unfortunately we've been robbed of that with a disconnect. Yeah, that's the thing. I hate to see that, especially when, like you said, you're hot on the heels, and he was definitely vying for 3rd place. Stag, though, I don't know if he's got the up and go at the moment to be able to catch up to Little Mac, but Little Mac's done well. Remember, we were watching Little Mac running wide out just before turn 1. So he has recovered well, Little Mac. He'll be very pleased with the way he's been able to fight back today. Becquois and the Beetle. He stayed ahead of Magic Man here at the moment, and it's looking like it will stay that way as long as he doesn't make any errors. It's been one of those days, hasn't it? It could have been a very different finish. We lost Axel, and then we lost Gelson to the disconnects. But that is what happens sometimes. Thank you. Alejandro TCS is now following. Welcome to the crew. And if you are new here, welcome. My name's Josh Gain, commentating the SFR GT Challenge Round 7 Clash here at Suzuka for the Pro Division. And you can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Mixer. And also Instagram and Twitter through the week as well. And don't forget, if you want to see what else we've got planned here on the channel, what other racing, go to our website at Demo 1 Garage. Go to the menu and choose Stream Calendar. All the scheduled races are there, and they'll be converted hopefully to your local time. And it's a Google Calendar too, so you can just use Google Calendar and link it up on your phone. Thank you, Wyatt, for liking the stream. Thank you for supporting us there and hitting the like button, bro. And I will be getting the events on a Facebook calendar thing as well, because I've just learned how to do that. So if you are on Facebook, you will also be able to stay in touch with all the events there too. It's Gabbo in second place. He did have pole position today, but he didn't have the outright pace that Spec 1 does. Spec 1 has just been a rocket ship. Yeah, well, Becquois is in 5th place in this race. Spec 1 is leading, and Spec 1 is also the leader of the championship. Spec 1 has 136 points. Becquois has 90. So it's not out of reach yet, but Spec 1's consistency has really been Becquois' bugbear this season, because there's no way after today that it's going to be an easy task for Becquois next round, because Spec 1 is really starting to drive away with it. He'll get another 34 points today, will Spec 1. And Becquois in 5th won't get 34. I don't know how many you get for 5th place. Now Magic Man, he hasn't lost sight of the Beetle, so don't count him out just yet. We're on the penultimate lap, coming on to the final one. So there could be a move at some point from Magic. Keep an eye on him. He does have the slipstream on the Beetle. Up into 130R. He is gaining and gaining. The gap's 3/10 now. He's going to brake hard into the triangle. He did have the car primed in the gap, but Becquois stayed ahead of him just for now. So we're on the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. And Spec 1 looks like he's about to come home with a win. Here goes Magic, though. Oh, here we go. Round the outside. Not on the final lap, surely. Side by side again. A great little move on the final lap, but Magic Man just wasn't able to just nudge ahead. The fight continues. Oh, power outage. It's even worse, because it wasn't even his internet. These two, though. This is the battle for 5th, and Becquois is hanging on for all the points he can, because he knows the championship lies in the balance here today. He needs the best possible finish he can get, and 5th is looking like it. And he needs those extra points that 5th gets him over 6th. Because Spec 1, well, he's about to come across the start-finish line, isn't he? He's got a huge lead. These two, though, battling now. They're just at the hairpin as Spec 1 comes around into the triangle. Up towards Spoon Curve. Spec 1 around the final corner now. And he'll take first place. Great little win from Spec 1. He'll be very happy with that today. Becquois stays ahead. This is Gabbo. He's about to come around the final corner, and he'll take second place. Well done to Gabbo. Little Mac's still got a little way to go, and Stag isn't going to catch him yet. But it's the battle between these two. Magic Man, this is his last opportunity, his last time. This is it. There's no more time to do anything. Magic Man needs to make the last final move. Becquois holds his racing line. Magic Man just can't quite get there yet. He's just outside of reach. And Becquois is about to come around the final corner. He's being chased by the Lexus. He's not close enough. But it's Becquois gets 5th and 6th place for Magic Man. A great finish from those guys. Death Scythe comes through in 7th. And it's J-Rod with a fantastic points finish today in 8th. And Legacy, he worked all day, but he got around the Flying Dutchman just a few laps ago. It was Early Mac in 11th, 2 Rare in 12th, and unfortunately both Axel and Gel Speed weren't classified. But it was this man, Spec 1, who won the day with a very powering finish. Yeah, definitely. Don't forget, Chris, there's the Pro Division and the Elite Division. So, two very different races that happen. But yes, they're all there. But victory to Spec 1. Thank you, Dude Mitchell. Thank you for hitting like there and supporting us. Now, we will have interviews, so stick around. We'll have to talk to the boys and girls. There's your race results as they stand. It was Spec 1 in the lead from Gabbo and Little Mac. So let's see if we can't talk to Spec 1, Gabbo, Stag, and Little Mac. Alrighty, let's get them in the interview room. And we'll see if they want to have a chat. But hang around if you want to listen to interviews. Otherwise, that does end it. And thanks again to all the support. And thanks again to Zero, who chucked in $5 today before he even saw a lap. So a round of applause to Zero. Clap emotes only. So thank you very much for the support there. And everyone else as well for hitting like, all the shares, and all our new followers. Welcome along. And it's been fun. We do have interviews though. So let's crack on with that if they're there. Oh, they are. So, it was Spec 1 in the lead. Congratulations on the win, another 34 points. And the championship's looking like it's yours next week, Spec.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope so. I never go in fully sure that I'm just going to walk away with it. So, just grind it out throughout the 2 weeks and then hope I get the results. So,
yeah, did you have to do much practice for Suzuka? Because it is a bit of a technical track.
Oh yeah. I probably, compared to like even elite guys, I probably have to practice twice as much just to get speed out of it. You know, I'm not one of those guys that can just jump on a track and crush lap after lap kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely have to put the work in.
Well, that's good to hear. And did you, at any point, were you worried about Gabbo and his strategy calls? Because was there any adapting as well that you had to do?
Yeah. I mean, I think I was sweating the whole time. Was it like lap 3 or 4? I overshot my braking point going into Spoon, and I went off track. And I was like, man, I just lost all momentum in this race. And then, I just kind of kept a watchful eye on him. And then that's why I did a wonky little change up my strategy at the end, because I knew about 7 laps was going to be the max threshold for tires. So, and I didn't want to be undercutted with the gap that I had. So I made sure I repitted at lap 21. But yeah, so yeah, I was definitely worried for a long time there because I just didn't know how it was going to develop.
And how do you deal with all the different interruptions? Because I had to call a few red flags here and there. Does that sort of upset your momentum?
No, not really. I know what I need to do. You know, obviously I practiced for 2 weeks, so just try to stay focused and roll with whatever's thrown at me and adapt to it pretty much.
Well, you did the job, and Gabbo in second place. Off the start line, DNA Stag was flying past you. That must have worried you.
Oh, definitely. That Mercedes has a great start. I mean, I tried to do everything to not bog, but he was just out of there.
Yeah, I don't think on any of the restarts you were able to beat him. It was always Stag flying past before turn 1.
Yeah. After the second restart, I was like, yeah, this is it. I just have to deal with it. There's nothing I can do. And
yeah, did you find your strategy that you'd pre-planned? Did you stick to it this race, or any changes midway through?
Honestly, I kind of had like an idea of the strategy, but I haven't really done any races this long, and I mostly did FIA, where strategy isn't that important, or at least it doesn't vary that much. So I sat that Spec 1 had pitted on the 5th lap, so I just did 6th, and then I went out in T1, overshot my braking point, and I kind of just, since I didn't have like the draft or anything, just get into mediums and try to stay in the pace.
Yeah, everyone was saying you overshot the turn. Was there anything today that either you did or Spec One did that made the difference? So what I'm trying to say is, Spec One won. Would you have done anything different to win the race if you had your chance again?
Honestly, just concentrate. I was like too in my head thinking of the strategy. That's why I overshot the breaking point. I'm
Right,
sure the race would have been a lot closer, but he did a really great job, you know?
he did.
Really, really fast and very consistent.
Yeah, he has been very consistent through this season. So, and you also got the first points for your team this today as well. So, congratulations on that one.
Oh, thank you. I mean, the first full-time TPRT driver, so that's really an honor. And the fact that in my first race, I managed to secure the second place is, it's a really great feeling.
I imagine so. So, well done. Good race.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, Little Mac, you had dramas at the start before even turn one, I believe. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, because you had a lot of work to do today. And your mic is muted. There's Little Mac there. We'll go back to Little Mac. Stag, well, you were fighting for second, third. Oh, Little Mac's here. Hang on, I'll go back to you, Stag.
Mike would turn on. It wouldn't do it for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, you're all good. Yeah, you had issues at turn one early on. That must have frustrated you a little.
Yeah, the first two starts were great, man. I was good. I was up there fourth, fifth, third at one on the first one, and I got pushed. I don't even know what really happened. There was so much chaos with lag from a couple of cars. They were everywhere, so you didn't know if a car was in front of you or not. And then all of a sudden, I was just pushed up into the grass. That was the end of it. So went from like fourth or fifth to last, like 9 seconds down.
Yeah,
this is not. I didn't think I was going to be able to catch up, but.
Yeah, what was your plan from that moment on? Because you fought back to still get a podium spot, so you did well.
I changed my plan when I ended up behind gel speed. I was going to do 4 on mediums or 7 on mediums, and it depended on where I was. And since I got punted, I couldn't do, there was no way I could do 7. I had to do 4. So I did 4, and then I got on my softs, and I ended up doing a couple extra laps so that I could stay in pit at the same time that I think it was gel that I was pitting the same time as.
Yeah, Gel was hot in your heels for a lot of that. He disconnected. He had a power outage, apparently. I mean, do you think he would have... Was he faster at you through any other sectors?
Yeah, it's tough with me and Gel because we're both... Like, he's got strong turns and all that, and I got other ones that are strong. So we basically end up right next to each other, and it's hard to get away from each other at all unless you have some interruption. Like I had... who was it that got in between us? Remember.
You had Beckwar, I think, at one point.
Yeah, Beckwar ended up. I dive bombed on Beckwar because I knew he was going to let me by because I knew he was getting ready to pit. I just went by him, and then he ended up separating us, and that is exactly what I needed to get out of the pits ahead of him.
So you reckon that was the difference? Because you gained at least 2 or 3 tenths just in that little strategy you did there.
Yeah. When I filled up my second to last pit, I filled up so I wouldn't have to fill up again. So hoping that Magic would have to put some more fuel in, and he did. So I ended up getting away from him.
Well,
it all worked out.
It was great to watch. It's just a shame gel speed disconnected. Otherwise, I think you would have been on for a photo finish or two. It was great.
Yeah, it would have been 5 laps to the death is what it would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's all we got left.
Oh, well, congratulations. And, yeah, 3rd place from everything that happened. It was a good finish. And, Stag, 4th for you. It would have been 5th if gel speed was still here, I reckon. But, yeah, you had a big moment with 305. We all saw that at the first Degno. It was just knocked you wide and you had to wait.
Yeah, I had to wait to rejoin. We both just kind of ended up in an unfortunate situation, I think. I probably should have backed off a little sooner. I wasn't gonna try to go for a passer on the outside right there, but I wanted to, give the edge a little bit.
Yep. Well, I mean, you did well to fight back because you lost a lot of positions, and to get within the top 5, you showed real pace. If Gel Speed had stayed, or Little Mac and Gel Speed was still there, would the slipstream have helped you catch those two a little bit better? Because once Gel Speed was out, I noticed you dropped off a bit.
Yeah, maybe. My tires were pretty gone by that point. I was, toward the end of my stint. It definitely would have helped. I don't know if I would have been able to keep up still, but.
Oh well, you put up a good fight in the end anyway. So yeah, I think 4th was a good result for you.
It was a good time. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was. Well, yeah, thanks everyone having a chat, and good luck in the next round in a couple of weeks' time. Got a lot of work ahead of you because the championship could be finished.
Hey, great race, guys.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, Josh, for everything you do, man.
No worries. Thank you. And yeah, that'll end everything today, guys. So thank you very much for tuning in, and thanks to the guys for having a chat. Well done to Spec One, Gabo, and Little Mac, and everybody else who crossed the line. It has been a fantastic race. That was the Pro Division. We will have the Elite Division next week. I promise I'll put... most of you know when it's on anyway, but for those who are new, I will put the event up on the calendar, up on the website. So that web's address again, just last time, is demo1garage.com. And the best place to stay up to date with anything that's happening is both Twitter and Facebook. They're the best places to get the information out on, or even the Discord. Discord invite link in the description. But that will end today's stream. My name's been Josh Gain. Thank you to the SFR GT Challenge as well. And we'll be back soon with more racing. And don't forget, on Wednesday, I'll be streaming some racing myself, probably having a crack at the FIA. So we'll see you guys then. Goodbye. Good night.